Okay, hey guys. I'm so excited today that I get to bring another conversation to you all. And I have one of my favorite things that I'm going to do in these interviews is getting to hear real stories, getting to real people, and just doing these interviews to share, educate, and see it from different angles. So today, I'm going to be sitting down with April here. And for myself, I'm also getting to know her because I don't know her on a super deep level. So I'm super excited. So it makes it a little extra fun for myself as we're all learning together. And I'm excited to hear her story, what led her here, what's been shifting for her, and all the things. So I'm going to just jump in, ask her some questions, and welcome her. I always want to advise we're not doctors, we're here just to share stories, make the advice and there's no claims here. So, April, I just want to welcome you here and let's hear what the chapter looked like for you or how the chapter is going if it's continuing to go.
Yeah.
And so, my first question for you today is going to be what made you start looking into a GLP?
So actually, I'm a nurse and a RN injector, so I do Botox and things like that. And I wanted to offer weight loss management to some of my clients that might be interested in that. I do that on the side, so I have a regular nursing job during the day. And given that aspect of it, it was just a little harder to, really pinpoint and, there's a whole lot of just other stuff that you have to do in order to get that to offer it. Um, Given I don't have an actual salon I practice out of. So, I kind of looked around and just, I kind of left it. And then someone on Facebook, a friend of mine, more of an acquaintance, but she posted about it. And I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued. And so I, did a lot of research. I knew a lot about GLP-1s already, but did the research and I was like, oh wow, I could do a microdose for myself. That wasn't something I really knew about. Um, and yeah, so then I thought, well, what better way to offer something to, for potential clients when you're on it as well? And yeah, I don't know if I want to go on a tangent because I know I will eventually here, but um, yeah, so the main piece for me is I'm 46. I've been in perimenopause for 4 years. And it's this, I love to call it the menno belly because it's truly what it is. Like it does not go away. For me, I've tried all the things and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. So here we are.
And so, was that kind of like your hump of like, okay, I'm tired of just trying this and I want something more? Like, I just want something to feel like myself, I guess. Like,
Yes. Oh, 100%.
and
So, and I think a lot of women you don't know all the different things that, is included when you go through menopause, perimenopause. And the weight gain was somewhat of a new thing for me. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but most women are like, oh, the hot flashes and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much more. And the weight gain piece, because of your hormones and everything, that was a big factor for me.
And with looking into this option, did you have any hesitation or like major questions at first? And if you
Oh,
did, what were they?
yep. 100% hesitation. I may be a nurse and I have educated and researched everything, but still it was like, you hear the stories in the news of things. And yes, you can't believe everything you hear and see in the news, but it did, you hear it. So you get a little hesitant. And so I really was. And then when I just talked more with the person that on Facebook that I had talked to, and she just kind of filled me in more. And it's like, here's some links, go check it out. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is, why can't we do something like this for ourselves when we take a medication for all the other things? High blood pressure, diabetes, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah,
And did you look at it more of being a quick fix for you or more of a tool?
a tool.
A tool.
I honestly, I don't think there's a quick fix for anything. And if there is a quick fix, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, but there's always some additional downsides to that. Or it's, you don't want to lose a ton of weight super quickly either. I mean, from what I know and from working with physicians, it's not always a great option. And so I was like, I want something that's just, I would love it to be a quick fix, you know, but it has worked amazingly well so far. So I will say that.
And would you say that it's an easy tool to use, or do you feel like there's some work that has to go in with it?
There's work, 100%. Like it's not just, take the shot, continue to, you know, eat all the things you want to, or overindulge, or not exercise, or, so there's definitely been some adjustments there. But I think it helps when you see fairly quick results, or I mean, that's just my experience with the medication. And I'm like, this is awesome. And so I've really prioritized myself, self-care. And so I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do to also help this medication work even better. That's the other piece.
And when you say that, when you were picking between the options, because there's definitely options with doing this, did you automatically know that you wanted to microdose, or were you like, well, what's the difference between microdosing and other options?
Yeah, at first I didn't realize there was like a microdose for people that, only want to lose a little bit of weight. For me, it was 20, 25 pounds. I'm pretty tall. So it luckily the things spread out, the weight spreads out, but at the same time, it was in a certain area. And I just was like, this is going to be something that I think is going to get me back to where I wanted to be, where I used to be.
That makes sense. And do you feel that when you started this medication that you felt that like pretty immediately, or was it kind of like a couple weeks in? What was your journey with starting that?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I took my first injection on a Friday after I got done with work. So let's just say 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Saturday morning, I think it wasn't until like 1 or 2 o'clock, and my boyfriend is like, gosh, I haven't had breakfast. He's like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, what time is it? And I looked and I'm like, he's like, aren't you hungry? Because normally I will eat or snack for sure by noon. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the medication. So I really didn't, it curbed my appetite. I mean, it was there, but we were busy doing yard work and stuff. So when you're busy, sometimes you just kind of ignore the hunger cues and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and then that day, the next day, the day after, I was like, I am not craving sugar. Like, I have the world's biggest sweet tooth, and I have no willpower to say no, I'll admit. But all of a sudden, I was like, I would be normally looking in the cupboard, looking for something, sugary carbs, to eat. And I wasn't. I mean, it was amazing. And I was just like, wow, this isn't even 24 hours. And I'm noticing, these effects. And yeah, it was really crazy.
do you feel, because this was like one of my big questions, is like, okay, people say the food noise goes away, but do you ever still feel hunger at sometimes, or do you automatically have to remind yourself all the time?
It depends, I think, on the day. I think I notice it more when I'm kind of at rest. So not working or, running around at work or doing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, the appetite curve has been pretty significant. So, I've made sure done all the things that, make sure I'm hydrated, eating small, healthy things, protein, all that kind of stuff. So I've had to make more of an effort to not just skip a meal because that's not good either.
Yeah,
So,
naturally, right? Like if
yeah,
you're
exactly,
medication or not
exactly.
medication.
Yep,
And in what ways do you help yourself like remember those habits like you have to eat or you need to drink water? Like
yep.
I naturally
Excuse
like
me.
I'm like, oh, I don't even think about it. And I'm like, crap, it's like 4 hours and I've not done any of these.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and it's, like I said, I'm a nurse, so I'm busy. I work in an assisted living, so I am at my desk or working with my patients. So I I tend to drink a little bit more water at work, but my daughter bought me one of those giant Stanley cups,
Oh,
and she for Christmas, I think it was. Yep, there, yep, yep. Mine's over there, needs to be washed. And I was like, normally I wouldn't drink everything I put in there. So we've got so many cups that I would just switch between them all. And so I strictly started using that because I'm like, this thing's huge. I think it probably holds 40 ounces.
Yep.
And so I was like, this is going to be, so I take it to work and I refill it at our little water station. And then at home, I'll usually we have bottled water, so I'll put some flavoring in there and get that in. And, I mean, I don't know if I'm quite up to like 4 of those Stanley Cups a day.
Working
But
on
I'm
it, right? Work in
right.
progress.
Yeah. But I'm definitely drinking a lot more water than I used to. So
Which is probably nice too, because
yeah,
good for you too.
it is. It is. Yeah.
Would you say, everybody always says it's like, oh, you have these side effects. Did you have any major side effects of being like nausea, constipation, any of those?
No nausea whatsoever. I'm on the one that has are you okay if we talk about which one we're on, or do we want to?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely share.
Okay.
Like, are you
Yep.
semaglutide or are you
Yeah.
trizepatide?
Yep. Tirzepatide. Yep. I'm on that one. And sometimes I'm sensitive to meds. And so that's why I chose that one. And that, it's supposed to, for some people can work a little bit faster. And so I chose that one. But no nausea, like
Yeah.
none. And I was like, whew. Constipation. So personal tidbit, I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So my bathroom habits are not normal. I can go days, sorry, everyone, too much information. So that was a big concern of mine. So I started taking Miralax every day.
Okay.
However, I will say in the last 2 weeks, since I haven't mixed protein shakes, I've just drank the ready-made ones.
Yeah.
I haven't been taking it yet. I think it might, for me, it's actually somewhat better than it was before I started this medication. And
Oh,
so I think a lot of that is probably my water intake because that helps,
yeah.
because your digestion slows on the medication. So hence the constipation. But for me, it really hasn't been too bad. I thought it would probably make it a little bit worse, but it's not been bad at all.
So you feel like maybe it's kind of helped then, like over this time?
Honestly, I think it might have. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they do say like gut health is part of
Huge.
into it, right?
Yep. Huge.
Um, and how long have you been on this journey?
So I took my 4th injection last Friday.
Okay.
So
Pretty new, but not super new. You've been a
nope.
month into it, right?
Right. Yep. Yep.
Outside of, because Claire, you've lost some weight, right?
Yep. 12 pounds.
12 pounds in a month. And outside of that, because I always think that it's important to really share that it's not always just about a scale, right? It's not just about
Yes.
the weight, because medication does have benefits other directions, and it's not just for one thing. So when I think about this, what other things did you see change in yourself, or, you already said IBS and things like that. Was there anything else that you saw big?
Um, Inflammation, and that's another part of the lovely perimenopause journey. Because I would actually have like achy hips often. I'd be sitting on the couch or at night, I'd have to flop back and forth a lot because my hips would ache. And I'm like, I'm only 46. It's not like I'm 70. I shouldn't have hip pain, but lovely perimenopause. And I noticed like my right hip, which is usually the one that aches more, doesn't hardly ache at all now. The left one, a little bit, but not as much as it used to. So that was kind of a neat thing. And then it could be just because I'm drinking more water too, or eating less sweets. But with perimenopause, you get your hormones are all over the place, so you break out. And I'm always breaking out on my forehead. I've had the clearest skin in the last 3 weeks than I have probably in the last year. So
Oh,
I don't know if it's not like I can say it's the medication,
yeah.
but there's something different going on because I haven't changed skincare products. I haven't changed, I use face wipes most of the time. So and it's probably a lot to do with the water and then just healthier eating too. But yeah, so that's been, kind of crazy.
And when, so you say you haven't changed things, is the only thing that you would say that you have changed is add this medication?
The medication and then hydration, because
Okay.
obviously that's good for your skin.
Yeah.
But so I'm drinking a lot more water. And so I think that helps too. But it is, I mean, it does coincide with being on the GLP-1. So something's helping.
A bonus, right?
Right.
What is something that you would say that if you were to go backwards and you didn't know about this, but looking straight into it for the first time again, what would you wish you would knew earlier? Or any tips like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if there's anything major. I think because kind of did my own research ahead of time because I wanted to offer it to potential, clients that I was more informed. I think um, the biggest thing for me was I didn't think I would be a candidate for a GLP-1 because, my BMI is like 24, I think. But like I said, I had this lovely Menno belly slash spare tire that despite doing all the right things, it just would not go away, would not, there might have been some muscles underneath it, but there was still enough, fat there that it didn't. So I think for me, that's really the only thing I can think of that I wish that would have enabled me to start it sooner is really kind of what I'm getting at then.
And if someone was curious and brought it up and was just hesitant about it, what would you tell to someone? Like, where would you tell them to start? Would you say just jump in, or would you say, okay, research it, ask like deep questions that you truly want to know?
Yes, yes. When it comes to your body, what you put in it, you shouldn't, I mean, in my opinion, again, disclaimer, you should never just jump into anything. Just be like, yep, I'm going to do this. You got to do your research. You can, if you know someone that's on it, talk to them. If you have reputable sources on the internet that are, I don't know, medical journals or physicians or your own physician, absolutely talk to them. Um, because it's not going to be for everybody. I mean, that's why you go through a health questionnaire and you know, put all that out there because you want to make sure that you're a good candidate for it and that it's not going to do the opposite of what you want it to do or, do something like that. So yeah, ask all the questions. I just was actually talking to a person I graduated high school with
Uh-huh.
and going through some similar perimenopause stuff and all the things. And she's like, I'm sorry, I have one more question. I'm like, don't apologize. I said, I'm not, giving medical advice, but ask any question you want. And I said, just flood me with questions. She just said, I think I'm going to go talk to a friend who's doing it too. And I said, absolutely. I'm like, consult your physician if you want to. I said, all those things are, in my opinion, a must, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's definitely like don't just take one person, right? Like
Yeah.
listen to others because it is so different for every person.
Yeah.
And I think would you say that it's probably very important, don't just base it off of somebody else's journey either, and it's more on truly what journey you want and what you're hoping for.
Yeah. And everybody, we all act differently to medications. Our body acts differently. And so like the first week I had just a 2 pound weight loss, but still it was still 2 pounds. So I was like, oh, I'm like, hey, 2 pounds is 2 pounds. And then all of a sudden, like the next week, it was like 6 pounds or something. I don't remember exactly how it went, but yeah, it was like, and then I've heard of other people are like, it's been 2 weeks and I've only lost 2 pounds. And, I mean, you follow the advice of, what's good to do on a GLP-1 and whatnot. And that all helps, and some people may not lose any right away. And all of a sudden, down the road, they're steadily losing weight. I mean, it just everybody's body is different. So
That's totally understand. And will you say, do you feel like you follow exactly what you're supposed to do every single day, or do you feel like maybe you slip sometimes and you really feel those precautions later? You know, not eating your protein or maybe not getting a workout in.
yeah,
That
100%. Like, yeah, we're human, so we're gonna mess up, make mistakes. Um, I think the protein piece, you have to, it's good to get a certain amount, of course, depending on what your body weight is. And I was like, gosh, how am I going to do that? And, how am I going to drink all this water and then not be up all night going to the bathroom? Yeah. And there's days when all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I've only had like 60 grams of protein and it's like 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. or something. And I'm like, shoot. And then you just try better the next day and really think about research what foods are high in protein and good protein and those kind of things. So it's not like you said earlier, it's not, you just take it and hope for the best. You have to, be knowledgeable about what you need to do to help the medication act effectively and do the best it can for you.
Awesome. Well, let's like wrap it, and I'm gonna kind of just have you free, like whatever else you want to share, go ahead and say it that you think that maybe we missed or something like that, and then we can wrap it up and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like I think the biggest thing is um don't worry about what other people think. Like that's a huge thing. Like so many people are like, "Oh my gosh, what you look great and you don't need to be on that and oh, it'll do this or that." And it's hard to not let that stuff affect you, let's be honest. We're human and we're women, so we take that stuff to heart. But I was like, you know what? You people don't need to know your why or that, yeah, I might still look okay, but you know how much Spanx is underneath, these tight pants or this tight shirt or something like that. And at the end of the day, whether your BMI is 35 or 25, this might be a good option for you. So research it and see if it's something you want to try and prioritize yourself. Don't try to cut out all the noise, that other people might be saying. And if you don't want to post about it or you want to be, more anonymous, that's okay. That's 100% okay. Just, yeah, it's worth looking into. I feel so much better about myself. Even just my face being slimmer. I was like this winter, I was like, ooh, it's getting a little round. Um, but yeah, there's just all the little things. And then just the emotional or the non-physical part of it is like, I feel good. Like I feel good about my body. I feel good working out. And, my boyfriend works out a lot. And so we don't work out together because he spends way too much time at the gym. I don't want to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours. I just go down to my basement, do the things I like to do, and I'm good. But it's nice to be like, okay, I feel like, not that we match, but I don't know how to explain it without sounding kind of weird. But yeah, it's nice to be like, yeah, we look good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to feel that way about yourself again. And with this perimenopause journey, whew, that's a rough one and it can last forever, it seems like. So, yeah, I'm super happy I did this.
Well, girl, you look great and just continue on your journey because we all know, support is a big thing. And
Yes.
um, I'm excited to hear along your journey and stay in touch and just like learn more about it because you're only a month in, but it
I
could be
know.
so different in another month. Who knows?
100%.
So, again, I really appreciate your time today and just sharing your journey. And if there's any questions or anything after this, like if I get them, maybe we'll do another one. But I'll
Yeah.
definitely let you know.
Yeah. Thanks for interviewing me. It was fun.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.